Snipes-n-Snarfblatts, your unauthorized place for Disney, Pixar, Marvel, and Lucasfilm. I'm your host, Jason, and we just got done wrecking the internet with Ralph. And you know what? As sequels go, especially Disney sequels, I'm 80s and 90s baby, you know what I'm saying? I remember when Disney couldn't pay people to go to the theater and watch a sequel. But I think we can safely start to say we're moving past those days because Disney's really starting to figure this sequel thing out. And Wreck-It Ralph 2 is on a whole nother level compared to those old sequels they made. This thing really gave the first one a run for its own money because it is just as good as that first one and a perfect segue from that arcade nostalgic gaming place that we were at in the first one to move it right into Wi-Fi and just really open this world up into the internet. You know what I mean? Because that's one thing a sequel really needs more than anything is a reason to happen. And I think that's one of the worst sequels that happen are the ones that really don't have a reason and feel like they were just, we're going to make this for the sake of making it because y'all want to see it and we can get a few dollars in our pockets. This was not that way at all. This felt like a perfect transition into itself, and animation was spot on. The voice acting was just as amazing as it was in the original. I have totally fell in love with these guys. Like I said, I watched the first one first just to make sure I was coming right into it smoothly, and that day we were watching it, I told my wife, I said, you know what, this is one of the very few cartoons where I don't really even see the cartoon characters. The voice actors have poured their souls and hearts into this so much that I actually see John C. Reilly and Sarah Silverman and all the other characters. I see them more so than I see the actual animated person that's doing the acting on screen. And that is a testament right there to fine voice acting and the actors really putting their hearts and souls into these characters. I mean, and you feel it in this one. I know one of the things going in that I had seen on the previews is I knew this movie was going to be hilarious. You could tell from the previews this movie was going to be hilarious, and it did not let down on that point at all. This movie is genuinely hilarious. Like, I don't know how they've cracked this code to make a PG Disney cartoon so funny, but they have cracked that code. This movie is just as funny as the first, and a beautiful social commentary to the internet as it is today and how we use it and everything, just everything that has to do with the wide world of the web, from YouTube to Twitter to Oh My Disney, which makes a giant cameo. And that's kind of the other thing going in that I was a little worried about was in the first one, I do know that as great as it did and as many people loved it, I guarantee you there were parents, much like mine, that a lot of it went over their heads because they didn't. Nostalgic gaming was nothing to them. And even a younger crowd, nostalgic gaming was nothing to them. This one's in the same boat because I'm sure there's some non-internet users, but we're in a time now where you've used enough of the internet to where I think you're going to miss out on less of the humor here than you missed on the first one. I think this is really equal opportunity for everybody, considering how much the internet plays a role in our everyday life right now. And like I said, it is probably one of the best social commentaries on the internet we are ever going to get. Like, this thing was totally on point, from pop-up ads to the actual avatars, because I mean Wreck-It Ralph and Vanellope are pretty much the only non-human figures in the internet besides, say, yes, the algorithm and some other game characters and whatnot and pop-ups. Other than that, everyone who populates the internet is us. It's our avatars. As we click on, our avatar appears on the internet and does its thing like this whole little world inside of a world. And I thought that was so great. And like I said, the comedy and the use of the internet was amazing. And I knew the comedy was going to be great going in, as I said before. The only thing I thought we were going to lack was some substance, where that first Ralph had that great accepting yourself message and all of that in there. This one, I didn't know if it was going to be there because you didn't see it in the previews. It was joke after joke after joke after joke. I mean, even some of the previews were wired just to be jokes to set up this movie. And it started to make me worried that some of the heart wasn't going to be there. And if y'all are worried about that too, totally put those worries aside, because, y'all, this thing has heart. This thing has a message of dealing with insecurities and moving on and growing as a person. And I mean, it's got so many actual just hidden messages in it that I love how it's just greatly blended just so smoothly. This thing will make you laugh, it will make you cry, and then it'll make you laugh all over again, cry and joy, cry another sad tear, laugh, and then be joyful and say, oh my God, I can't believe it. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed this as a sequel. I thoroughly enjoyed this as its own movie. I have a feeling if we'd never seen Ralph and this was my first and we just started a movie about going into the internet, I still would have loved this movie. It could have stood alone. That's how good it was. I highly recommend this movie to people who loved the first one. And if you haven't seen the first one, do yourself a favor and go out and see the first one. These are really genuinely funny movies that were written by some amazing writers who just, they really know how to keep an innocence about something and have just enough on that edge to where everybody gets in and everybody gets a good belly laugh out of all this. I mean, this is laugh out loud humor. And on top of just the internet and on top of just how they use the characters and on top of all of just the voice acting and everything that there is, Disney pulled out one more card out of their amazingly huge deck this time. And everyone knows Oh My Disney's on the internet, and if you've seen the previews for this, you know we're going to Oh My Disney. And I'll say that the part that Oh My Disney plays in this movie is not only significant, it is much larger than I thought it was going to be. And to see Star Wars and Marvel and all the Disney stuff and basically everything I'm here for to bring y'all in the first place and talk about all under one roof in one show, it made me giddy. Like, just seeing all of it together. There's so many pop-ups. I don't want to spoil any of the amazing just guest appearances, for lack of words. There's so many guest appearances. There's even one majorly heart-touching reference that the appearance, just the whole crowd, you could tell it in the theater that they felt that appearance there. And I know it wasn't supposed to mean that, but now it means so much that it was there. And I'm so glad that it made the cut and went through. But like I said, I can't wait for some deleted scenes because I really think Calhoun and Fix-It Felix, they stole the show for me in the first one. And they had a really great setup in this one to have some real good comedy. But this movie is so big that I know some stuff had to hit the cutting room floor to keep it into an animation timing because, like I said, there's a lot going on. They wanted to make sure no jokes were spared. I mean, this thing fires one after another, after another, after another, after another. And I loved every single second of it. I just wish Calhoun and Felix could get a little more. Please, Disney, if anyone from Disney watches this, let them know when this Blu-ray or DVD comes out, that's what we want. If you gave us a small scene for see what Edna was doing with Jack in Incredibles 2, I need a small scene for Wreck-It Ralph 2 to know how it went with Calhoun, Fix-It Felix, and their situation. I'm not delivering any spoilers, I'm just going to say their situation because I have a feeling there was some comedy gold right there that on top of all the comedy platinum that we got, it had just mixed in and made comedy genius. But it would probably been another 15, 30 minutes to a movie that was already long and had a whole lot going on. Like I said, beautiful movie. I loved it. I would suggest anyone to see it. Take your kids to see it. Take yourself to see it. I saw this for the first time in a Dolby Cinema. And if you have never been in a Dolby Cinema, look up Dolby Cinema at AMC and find out where the closest one to you is. I don't know if I will ever watch a movie the same way ever again. This place had mechanical reclining seats that vibrated as the sound went back and forth. And as I said, back and forth because the sound went back and forth. It was amazing. I mean, the picture had a real black, like, oh God. Dolby Cinema, check it out if you can. If it's in your abilities, check it out. It's definitely worth it. Like I said, this was a great follow-up movie to the original. Please go see it. They need it. I'm sure it's going to do great anyway without you, but let's blow this thing up to let them know that Disney can do sequels now, and we want to see more as long as they deliver them like this, and they're good. 2 thumbs up, 4-star, great sequel, great follow-up to the first one. Hand in hand, I will definitely watch these back to back now. 1 is part of 2, 2 is part of 1. Just as I watch Toy Stories 1 through 3, I cannot watch 1 alone anymore. This movie will find itself in the same exact boat. So, until next time with Mary Poppins, this is my time to sign off. So, go down in the comments if you want to check out the website. I've been keeping it up. I got links for that, links for my Instagrams. You can see all of our pictures of Disney World now that it's right in our backyard. Pinterest is on there. Twitter's on there. I'm not the best Twitterer, but hey, it's on there if you want to keep up with what I do on the website. It's always on Facebook and Twitter. All those links are down there. Subscribe, hit the bell so you'll know when the show starts. I've got that coming up any day now. Maybe I'm looking for a turn of the year, but I might be able to get something out before that, at least maybe a Christmas special. Not a Star Wars Christmas special, but a Christmas special nonetheless. So, signing off, I have to say, in the words of the great group Therapy, I'm bad, and that is good. I will never be good, and that is not bad. There's no one I'd rather be than me. And I'm gonna wreck it!